Hello and welcome to Paper Plays Julie K.
Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for stopping by. Today I'm here with an update for Roxy's Journal of Stitchery. I decided to join in on the challenge this year. Again, I'm really new to stitching. It's been since maybe junior high since I've actually done any stitching, and so I thought this would be a fun challenge to learn some new stitching, to do some hand stitching that I hope to maybe incorporate down the road into some of my journal making. And so I will have links for Rachel's channel and her sister's channel. They also have a Facebook group, which is really nice. And then also they've been posting on Instagram using, I think it's the hashtag Roxy's Journal of Stitchery or something like that. I'll try to use the same hashtag in my YouTube video title so that you guys can find it, the hashtags easy. And anyways, so this is my January page, and so the prompts, each month they are giving us prompts or assignments to work on. And so we have the month to work on them. And so this month's prompts were to, it was a rabbit and also vintage lace. And so here is what I came up with. And so you can see here some vintage lace that I've had in my stash. This is some Parisian lace that I found at the thrift store that I was really excited about, and it's vintage. It was wrapped on like a really old piece of cardboard, and it said it was from Paris. And so it was really fun for me to be able to find that lace at the thrift store. And so I've been kind of hoarding it a little bit. I have gifted a little bit of it away to some of my crafty friends. But it was fun for me to be able to add it to one of my own personal projects that I'll be keeping. I also added a little bit of Battenberg lace here on the side. I have a little bit of lace right here on the side too. I don't know if it's going to show up very well on the camera. And then I have this piece of lace right here. And then here is my little rabbit that I used. And I admit I kind of struggled a little bit with what I was going to do for my rabbit or my bunny. I didn't have any material, and I'm trying really hard to only use what I have in my stash. And then I remembered that I did have a Tim Holtz Sizzix die of a rabbit. And I had heard that you could cut out material using your steel cut dies, and so this was a steel cut die, so I thought I would try it, and it did cut out the rabbit quite nicely. And so that's how I found, or that's how I did my rabbit. And then again, after I kind of had my key elements laid out, I laid out some different little scraps of material. Then I went ahead and did stitching around it, and I added some embellishments. I added a little flower here, and then I also added the buttons as kind of some extra embellishments. And I'll just hold it up close so you guys can check out all my stitching. Again, I'm really new to stitching, so it's taken me about 3 weeks to get this done. I'm kind of slow, but it's been fun learning some new things and just enjoying the process. So you can see I did some cross stitches, and I did a ton of French knots. These are all stitches right here. And I thought it'd be fun to make the bunny or the rabbit look like it was sitting in grass, and then have some flowers in the grass. This little piece right here is the turkey work that I did for a little cottontail. I did make a couple pistol stitches with some other little stitches on top to make some little flowers there, and I did the same over here. And that was part of the stem stitch also. I did a couple of the little lazy daisy leaves stitch right there. They might not show up very well. I also added some stitches right here and added some little tiny French knots to the end of those. And up at the top, I also did some of the seed stitching. I can't remember if that's called the fly stitch. I can't remember all the names of the stitches off of the top of my head, but that stitch is the same stitch as this one. This one's just more, this one's more even, where I did each of these slightly smaller on that one. And then also some more French knots. I also stitched in the word January. I did decide that each month I will actually do the word for the month. So if it's January, I stitched in January. February, I'll do the same thing. And so that is my layout for this month. And then the other thing that we were to also do, and I know a lot of the ladies have already finished theirs, and I'm just slowly getting going on it again. I'm not very fast at stitching, is we're also supposed to be doing a title page if you want one. And so I did start that. I did have this it's a little coaster doily that I had, and it actually had 2 pieces of this on it, and I cut those off to use as tabs. And so I'll use one of those also for February's page. But I decided that this would make kind of a nice little centerpiece for my title page. So I did go ahead and stitch out the word Journal of Stitchery. I went ahead and added that stem stitch. There's a couple of the little lazy daisy stitches to make the leaves. And then I added some little French knots just next to them. And so that's the start of my title page. And I think I'm just going to center it on a page where I have little blocks of leftover pieces of fabric on it, and then I can still kind of stitch around it and do some little things around it. So I did want to show you the progression of that. And then I also apologize. I was going to take photos as I worked on this to share with you guys, but I kind of spaced it out. So next month I'm going to try and do better, so that at the end of the video when I do my update next month, I'll show you what it looked like before I started stitching, and then when you add all your embellishments, you know, I'll just show you the different progression next month. So I'll try to do better with that for you guys next month. I did really enjoy the challenge, and I think there's still time for you to hop on board if you wanted to join. So I will again have all those links listed below in the description box. And then the one last thing I also wanted to share with you guys is I also decided on a method of how I'm going to bind my pages. And one of my crafty friends, Karen Billinger here on YouTube, mentioned that she was going to be doing the tab binding method. And I did watch her video on that the other day, and I think I'm going to copy her and do her method. I normally was going to put it into like pages like I normally make my journals. But her method sounds really fun to do, and I had done that tab binding method a long time ago. I took a class for making journals when my husband and I were on a trip. I paid for a class at an it was kind of like an art store, a gallery, and there was someone there that was showing off some like handmade books and stuff, and so she did teach us some different methods. And so I did at the time, and I tried to find it, but I couldn't find it in my stash. But I had made a quick little journal using the tab binding method, but then when I was reminded about it again from Karen's video, and I thought, oh, that would be really fun to try using that for a fabric journal. And so I will also link Karen's video below in the description box. She does a nice job of explaining the tab binding method, and she kind of shows you a little bit in her video, so I will link that specific video so that you guys can find it. So again, thank you everybody so much for watching, and I will be back again next month with another update of our prompts that we got next for February, and also what my final project looks like for February. So until next time, have a wonderful day and happy crafting.